That was quick. That was quick, right? Hi, everybody. Welcome to Evans 11. Hope you're all safe and well. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, hitting the bell icon so you may every time put new content on. As always, we'd like to thank our lovely, lovely channel sponsors, Untuckit. Check them out in the description below. Today's guest is Ray, he did a really, really quick, like, cushion under the. So he was sort of. I saw that. It was very, very quick. Well timed. How are we, Ray? How are we, man?
I'm good. My tootsies are cold. So I've got wooden flooring.
Yeah, mine are too. My slippers are indoors. I mean, I do this in the garage. I don't know why I didn't bring them out. I don't know. They're like Uggs. I call them mugs, male Uggs. Oh, they're proper booty. Oh, I tell you what, they're living the dream, my friend, living the dream. But it's I can get away with it as well because they look like almost like workman boots, but they're not. They're Uggs.
Yeah, I almost bought a pair.
Yeah.
And then, like, a couple of my girls, because I work at Carrick, they popped into the shop at the same time as me. They see me picking them up and look and they go, Ray, put them back.
Oh, no.
I was like, no, what? They're great. They're comfy. They were like, put them back.
They are.
So I couldn't buy them in the end. I was gutted.
Oh, made a critical error there, Ray, to be honest. I mean, we had Chris Skull was putting his on his Insta the other day. He bought some fake ones, and
Eastern Market.
I don't know. He did them in like one of these, like not Wish, but something like that. And yeah, the fact that it came with a list of instructions of not what to show on the sort of the reviews. So it's like, do not show this logo here or this logo here or this logo here because they're basically fake. Yeah. It's like, God, fucking hell. Oh, dear. But he got some decent ones finally. So he got some moccasin ones. They were quite nice. Anyway, welcome to Slipper Chat.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a new thing. It's a new area we should be pursuing. Slipper Chat. I think, well, I'm not being funny. All the shows you do on bloody American Hammers Network, you could probably do another one and no one would know, would it?
Exactly. And don't forget 2 spanners, 1 hammer.
2 spanners, 1 hammer. Yes. Yeah. With wall shot. I mean, I've done that one before and that was fun. That was good fun. And how are we, Ray? How are we in terms of this weird world we live in now? Are you?
Well, I'm up north, as you know, based in Liverpool, which is, Scouser territory. I always worry I'll get robbed. I'm not joking. It's actually all right.
Yeah, it's nice. I like Liverpool. I've always liked Liverpool.
I know. I actually like Liverpool. I like that they can have the banner as well. They can take them in. And, they give it as well as they take it. So it's good fun. Lockdown, nothing to do, bored, stuck in home. I don't know if you can see, that's Liverpool city centre.
Very nice.
Yeah, just waiting for it all to reopen now.
And I imagine when it will do, obviously the old restaurants can be a bit busy because everyone will want to go out and have something to eat, won't it?
Yeah, but I don't know if you know the concept of karaoke. It's more like drinking and dancing.
Yeah.
So they're talking about us not being able to sell alcohol.
Yeah.
It's like, no point it's open. Yeah. Like you might bankrupt some. There's a lot of bars that are struggling and that.
Yeah.
They're going to be bankrupt, and if we're lucky enough, we serve food as well, so we've got a brilliant kitchen. So we might be able to, just pay the bills we get by. And as I said, Liverpool people are actually really good, and our landlord's a local Liverpool lad as well. And like he's sorted us basically well out with the rent and all that kind of stuff. If he weren't as nice as what he was, we'd be screwed. But yeah.
Well, I think it's time here, and it's like where people who help each other out now, it's going to come back in kind later on in life, innit? And later on in the if I helped you out now, and so I think it's right that they should be helping you guys out, because otherwise, if you guys folded, they'd be effed. They wouldn't be able to get another bloke in, another place in, will they, to cover that? So yeah, no, it's all good, man. It's nice. Whereabouts is Coyote Ugly in compared to, I don't know, like Liverpool 1, for example?
So we're literally just down the road from Liverpool 1. We are on the same street as Liverpool Central train station.
Oh, I know, yeah.
Yeah, so we're just up the road on Bowl Street. So if you look at the church at the top of the hill, we're like halfway up.
Oh, cool.
Opposite Greg's. So
always useful.
Coffee. Yeah. So, Get on well with the girls at Greg's because they sort me out every now and again.
Oh dear, yeah, little sausage roll here, sausage roll there. That's what I like. Or maybe you feel fruity. You go for, I don't know, a sausage and bean melt.
Nah. It's mainly a steak bake. Normally
Steak
a steak
bake. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I was really impressed with the fact when I think I went to Iceland the other day and they had like all the Greg's stuff in there, and it was well. Yeah. Anyway, welcome to Pastry Watch. but you know, exactly, we just do anything. But talking about, let's talk about West Ham. Obviously, you know, thankfully, despite the fact that you know you're a bit bored and the restaurant and the hospitality business is on its arse and things like that.
Yep.
West Ham are not, which is a great thing.
Yeah, it is a really good thing.
It is. It's one of those things where you know, it's small mercies. That's the way I sort of count it, and you know, small victories, and the fact that you know we're not in. God, could you imagine if we had like last season's season? Now it would have been like, oh, I don't know what I don't think I'd cope. Honestly, I don't think I'd cope. It's the one thing we don't have to worry about now, which is lovely. I mean, it's just one of those things now. I think with West Ham where. You know, it's funny. It was ridiculous the other day, like Liverpool, and the Liverpool Man City game was on, and I was like, "Oh, that's a good result for us."
Yeah. What a season we're having when we're complaining that you know, or we're happy that Liverpool losing against Man City, and we're like, "Yeah, we're up there. Come on, Champions League."
Yeah, exactly. No, it's good, man. It is good, and it's just like it's. Yeah, and obviously we had the shitter with the FA Cup the other day, but I think now you know. Back to one game a week. I think it's going to suit us now, don't you? I think we've had so many football games. I just think we've gone a bit like fatigued. That's what I saw. It like we got, you know, we need like a week's rest now each game. So hopefully, who knows, man? Who knows? Where do you think we'll finish right at the end of the season? Where do you think?
I don't know. I'm kind of nervous because like the news, Bonner's out for 4 weeks now, isn't he?
Something like that, yeah. But I mean, the centre back position, I'm not as fussed about it, to be honest, because I think we've got enough cover. But you know, if you, where do you predict we're going to start doing this now? Where do you predict we're going to be at the end of May?
I think 6. I want to say 6. I want to say a comfortable 6, and that's I hope we end up there. I hope we end up at 6 because like. It will say what kind of season that we had. I'm just a bit concerned that it's going to be one of them seasons where you know we're flying high, we're buzzing, and then we get out of the FA Cup, and then we start dripping their performances. You know, people getting tired, injured. You know, it's worrying because our squad is so thin in certain areas of need. You know, Declan Rice or Souček goes, and I don't think Noble will be able to do it as much. You know, as much as I love Noble.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, I think Noble's role, and actually, I don't even think. I think everyone says, "Oh, he's got one season left." Well, I think he's got a couple of seasons if he plays his sort of 15, 20-minute. The closing man. The guy who, like like the old restaurant bar business, the guy who comes in towards the end and does all the closing and shuts all the glass washer down, and that's their job. And I think that's going to be Mark Noble's job, to be honest. And I don't think he'll do a bad job.
Mark Noble, the pot washer.
Pot washer. Oh God, yeah, the pot washer, glass collector. Oh yeah, glass washer. Don't forget to drain it down and leave, obviously, undone. And you can say I used to work in a restaurant, And so, don't forget to leave it all down to air dry overnight. And no, I think so. And I think 6th is achievable. I was looking at where we are now. So 39 points, the same as we were last year for the whole season. And I reckon there's still about a good 20, 25 points we can get by the end of the season. So, I mean, last year, I think 59 was 6th. I think Spurs are 59th or something like that was 6th or 6th or 59th. I think so. Yeah, I reckon 6th. 6th. I think that'd be phenomenal compared to last season. Do you know what I mean? Do you know? For me now, it's not necessarily where we finish this season, and I sound so wanky, but it's where we finish next season is what I'm bothered about now, because like this season, we'll be at least 10th. This season, and that's a fantastic up. Hopefully it'll be 6th, but between 6th and 10th will be. But next season's the season I'm worried about because like every year when we have a good season, we have 3 crap seasons in it. So before this season, the best season before then would have probably been the last season at the Bowling, I'd imagine. So we'll see. In Moyes we trust, Ray. In Moyes we trust.
I know. And I weren't a fan of Moyes at the start, and I must admit, there's still elements that I question. And
sure.
But how far has West Ham come when we're almost relegated last season to complaining that we might finish sixth this season? It's crazy to think about. But you gotta love it.
You gotta love it, and I think that's like when the whole transfer window came and went, so to speak, and everyone was like, "Oh my god!" But it's like last season we were desperate for players to keep us up, and obviously Souček and Bowen came in and basically saved our season. This year we want players to improve our league position, and it's a different mindset. So it's like, oh my god, it's annoying that we haven't got, but I'd rather invest the money in the summer if that's what Moyes wants to do. And I was talking to a guy yesterday actually about it, and Moyes isn't like, he hasn't got his head in the sand. He knows Antonio's hamstrings are like, rubber, or no, well, the opposite, something, they're very loose. So he knows that's the risk. So he's got some. My assumption is that there's a plan B and C in his head, and hopefully we'll see. We'll see in plan C. But it's one of those things where I'm not too fussed. We haven't got the striker in that everyone thought we needed to get. I'd rather get the one he wants in the summer because he's done well with the guys he's brought in. So he knows what he's doing, does old Moisey, and that's why you and me are sitting here doing this, and he's at Rush Green training his first team.
Pretty much, yeah. And I'm the same as you. Like, a lot of people have been moaning about not getting a striker in the January transfer window.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I understand it because they want us to finish as high as we possibly can.
Sure.
And it may be a case that if we've got someone in, we might, God forbid, get in the Champions League. Now, I don't realistically think that's a guarantee, but the hopes is there. Where I find out that if we can get the right striker in a January transfer window, in the summer transfer window, don't cost us like the ends of the earth. Because I'm also concerned about the aging players that we've already got. Again, we need someone else in central midfield, either to replace Souček or Rice or to back them up and push them onto moving up to that next level. And left back is still kind of an issue with me, but then you see Ben Johnson playing really well, and I'm like, come on, Johnson, that's yours to take.
It is. It is. And I think also, when you look at the team, it's like, we were all going, oh, let's get in, I don't know, Diego Costa or Giroud, and that's what we used to do. That was old West Ham, spend a lot of money on a player who's not, I'll say he's going to probably go out and probably sign him tomorrow, but, spend a lot of money on wages and signing on fees for players who are past it, and actually that's not West Ham, that's not us anymore now. We're hungry. We get players from, the Czech leagues or from the Championship who are hungry, and that's, I think, the right recipe for success for West Ham. Get hungry players in who are going to fight for the shirt, because that's all we ask for, really, isn't it? Someone who's going to just put the shirt on and have a go all the time, not going to be complacent with effort and stuff. And the guys he's brought in, you can't fault their effort. So we'll see what happens. It's exciting though, isn't it? It's exciting though, I must admit.
Do you reckon he's going to get one or two strikers in January in the summer?
Who knows? I think I think he wants the guy from Seville rather. The I can't remember his name, but I've been watching him a lot since, and he does seem to fit that mold in terms of pacey and will just hound defenders and do a lot of chasing and chase down the lines. He does seem like that type. I like him. I also like the guy from Brentford, Tony. I think he's a good shout, and I think the fact that we've given them, Winston Reid on loan, and we've just given them 28-30 million pounds 6 months early as well than we said we're going to give it to them. Might help, innit? Well, we screwed them over in the summer, really, to be honest, in the summer transfer window. Yeah. So, we've given it 6 months. I didn't think about it till now, but we've given them that money 6 months early as well. So that might help. They get a bit more money in the old interest payments and stuff. It might help come, if they don't go up, in the summer, then we might get Tony. And I think he's a good player. And I think Armstrong at Blackburn, I think, there's 2 or 3 which are really good, but we'll see what happens. Moyes as he knows, he said what's happening. So in terms of who he wants to go for, we hope. So anyway, yeah, we'll see. But anyway, you lot talk about all that stuff anyway on your shows, all the modern, all the up-to-date stuff. That's what you do on, on Hammer the Point or whatever.
Yeah.
What is it about American Hammers Network that most of the shows are run by English people?
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy.
I know, and even the ones that are not in the UK are still English as well, with Adam and stuff like that. So, actually, I was on Adam's show yesterday. I was on Hammer's Shots yesterday, which was quite fun. Semi-final, we're through to the final. Me versus Rob Banks.
Nice, get in.
Poor Dan. I felt so sorry for Dan though. He was very crestfallen by the end. Yeah, bless him. I did I was in the zone. I was like in the zone. I felt really bad. It was Hangman, I'd get Ian Dowie straight away, it's like, yeah.
Boom,
believe it. Boom, boom, boom. But no, I love all that stuff. It's great. And I think, obviously, you got the hammer the point stuff. And those are, two hammers, one spanner, whatever it's to have. I can't remember. Sorry, Charlie, I forgot the name of it. But it's great because you interact with all the American guys, and you really have an appreciation of how big our fan base is outside of the UK. It is massive, isn't it? It is
huge. Like, you think about it, we've even got fans in New Zealand. One of my pop boys who went traveling, he was just like, I know a few West Ham fans in New Zealand. I was like, crazy. And then you remember, like, they went out with Rince and Reed and done the tour around New Zealand, stuff like that. And the history of West Ham Club, Green Street and all that, it brings on a lot of fans. It works. So
it does. But Green Street is surprising, particularly for American hammers. It seems as it's sort of. You had lots of American hammers on the show, the Fresno Irons and and Jason from Chicago and David and obviously Lee and Tim and all them lot. And it's funny, isn't it? It's funny why people pick West Ham, because some people have generally just picked West Ham. They had to pick a team and they picked West Ham. Like Justin picked West Ham because he's a Cubs fan and the Cubs won fuck all, and then West Ham won fuck all. It's like brilliant. I love it. Or Katie, the Philly, she picked because similar sort of blue collar club, and it's brilliant. It's really, and I had this never had an appreciation of our fan base outside of Essex, really, Essex and London, to be fair, until starting to do this. And absolutely massive, which is brilliant. But you, Ray, the first question I asked, the 18 minutes in, that's a new record.
Come on.
Question 1 is, why are you a hammer, mate? What's your story? What's your origin story if you was an Avenger?
So, I don't know if I'm originally from Dagenham, so local lad, down the road. My stepdad was a hammer. My granddad was a hammer. Most of my family were hammers. So, like, all school friends, West Ham fans, I didn't have a choice, really. It was just DNA. And do you know what? I don't mind it. So, like, I kind of loved it. So I remember, like, first time kicking a ball around when I was, like, in my infant school, like, and just, like, talking about all the players then, like, just craziness, trying to do little tricks when you're, like, about 6 years old as a footballer, not being able to do it with the soft, spongy balls back in the day.
Oh, yeah, the balls you could stand on. And then if it was really wet, and you got one of those in the face,
good.
Not asking, it was horrible. And then you'd get bits falling off it, and like they were usually blue and yellow, weren't they? And so you'd have like a ball which was like that with like a massive divot in it, which was just someone's ripped it out.
I mean, the keeper had no chance back in the day. Oh,
they'd go to get it and it'd squash through their hands and it'd just be covered in water. They'd be like, oh dear. Oh well. The great days. So obviously, you know, it's all geographical and family, and we were just chatting beforehand. You sort of were reminiscing, and you were going back and watching your first game you saw, which was West Ham Wrexham.
Yeah, in the FA Cup in 1992. I believe.
Living the dream.
Living a dream, and like I was watching it, and I was looking at the Wrexham player. I can't remember his name, but he looks like one of the cartoon characters that I've seen. I can't remember.
Brilliant.
He's got like long hair. He's like short. Oh, what's his name? I've forgotten his name now. He was one of their best players. I can't remember his name, but it looked like it's a cartoon character. I can't remember the cartoon. But anyway, never mind. But
Square pants, you carry on.
Yeah, they're the characters that we used to have back in the day. You know, brilliant, amazing.
And it's like, and it's one of those things when, you know, as you said, you were only a young tot really then. And then that's it. You know, once you're in with these things, isn't it? So I haven't met anyone who said, I went to my first game. It was all right. I didn't bother going back. Everyone's once they're in the hooks, and obviously for you know, you youngster going to this game, so many, you said there's about 25,000 people there, probably 25. You probably never seen that many people in one space, you know. And I forget how scary that must be for a kid going into this environment. You know, we're used to it now. Well, you're not used to it now because there's there's no one at the ground anyway, though, apart from me. But you get used to seeing 60,000 people in that London Stadium like it's nothing. That's a huge amount of people watching a team. And also,
you're right. I went up my first game. It was all standing, wasn't it? So
yeah.
So like I went with like my cousin and her partner. They got me a ticket. It was only like £5, I think, back in the day. It was so cheap, crazy because it's FA Cup. And because I was so small, like I couldn't really see. So they were like, go down the front. We'll keep an eye on you. Just wave at us, and then just stay there until the end. So I was like, come on through. Only time. Yeah. Got right to the front and just stood all there. And this is what I used to love about West Ham, is because they're friendly. Of the stewards there and all the people around us, they were like, go on, get to the front. And I said to the stewards, I think it was in the second half, I was like, can I jump up and just sit on there? And they literally was like, as long as you sit there, don't move, don't try and run on the pitch, just sit there, you can behave yourself and do it. And like me, and they allowed me to do it. So like me and a couple of the other kids done it as well. And that's what they used to love. They just let you do that as long as you behaved yourself and didn't take the mick. It was a friendly atmosphere.
Crazy, isn't it, when you think about it? It's like when we had like obviously the world we live in now, unfortunately, and it's like, you know, like letting your kid go down the front with, you know, all these people you don't know. It's just it's weird. I mean, I'd never let my daughter's 8, and it's like, God, if I leave her within, you know, an arm's length, it'll be like I couldn't do it. It's horrible how the world's changed like that, isn't it, in terms of that? But yeah, as you said, it was like, and also as a young kid, you know, you're hearing like swear words and stuff like that. You know, the first time you could properly swear and get away with it, really, without anyone hearing. That's what I used to love about going to the football. I remember once we took one of my brother's mates one day, I remember, and he was the first game, and everyone was like, the referees, and all that. And then it all just went, as he went quiet, he shouted out, "Wanker!" And everyone literally stopped and just just went completely red. Oh, Matt Pryke is probably watching. Oh, it was so funny, so funny. But that's what football was all about then, wasn't it? And that's what football is all about. I think, you know, you do the shows. Obviously, you know, you do the mods for Charlie and stuff, and the watch-alongs, and that's fantastic. But it's that interaction. It's that, you know, meeting your mates for a pint. It's going on the boats, Gonzo's with the Gonzo and Gio or supporters clubs. And I think that's the thing which people have missed, considering they've been going. I mean, some people have been going for 50, 60 years, and for the last year they haven't gone. Yeah. And I think it's such a huge part of people's lives. I mean, you know more than it. I mean, obviously we interview lots of people. West Ham plays a really significant part in a lot of people's lives. And, you know, the sooner we can all get back and start having a giggle and forgetting, not even really bothered about the result. It's about going out before and after, and win or lose, go on the booze. You know, it's it's a sad thing. It's a sad thing. But I mean, people are trying. You know, I mean, as you said, you know, with the shows and things like that, everyone gets together, and you know, and it's at least there's some sort of banter going around, and that's what people really, really miss.
Yeah.
But there's this buzz. There is a buzz. I mean, you go on the watch-alongs, and the last sort of 6 months, particularly, there's been this buzz around West Ham, and everyone wants to jump on and talk, and lots more people are starting up YouTube channels and podcasts. Yeah, I think it's great though. I love it. I think it's really interesting, and everyone wants to listen to other people's opinions and stuff, and I just think and the fact is, because we're winning, I don't think if we were winning or doing so well, there'd be so much interest in West Ham at the moment. But hey ho, as you said, you've early 90s, long suffering fan. Plenty of relegations and promotions, and what I like, Ray, is your time, the way when you started was similar to my starting period. So it's like we had sort of similar reference points, which is great. And as you said, once you're in, you're hooked, innit? And then that's it. You're done. You're done in, man. I mean, you get up at 3, I don't know what time, midnight, whatever, to do a bloody American Hammers show, innit? That takes commitment, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, lucky enough, because of my job, I was up that not late at night.
Good point. Yeah.
4 o'clock in the morning, and like in my whole history of my career, I've always been a night owl more than a day owl. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose it don't sound so noble about it now, mate, to be honest. You could have just I know, it's like I set my alarm, now it's like, well, I'm up anyway. So yeah, what else to do? So
it's harder now though during lockdown, because like I'm up earlier now because I'm not at work. So but yeah, I'll still try and make it. Try and bring the noble back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just trying to you sort of grasping at straws, to be honest, right at the moment. But, yeah. hashtag just saying, right? Yeah, and obviously since then, and what got you involved in all the YouTubey side? What was the catalyst? Do you remember going, I'm going to start doing stuff around YouTube?
Right. So I was just watching. What was it? I used to watch the 3 hours back in the day. Like I just started. I don't know where it was, but I just saw something on YouTube, and I was like, "Oh, let's have a look at that." And I started watching 3 hours. I quite liked it, and that they're a good bunch. And I really then I started watching. Who's the ginger guy that don't do it anymore? What's his name? Oh, I used to. What's his name?
Hammer.
Yeah. Oh,
so annoying. I want to say Hammer. It's not Hammer. Hammer Talk. Hammer and Nail.
It's something like that, isn't it?
Yeah. Something like yeah. He doesn't do it anymore.
No, he doesn't do it now. I really liked Ease because it was quite funny at the time. Yeah. And then I started watching Cup of Tea with Gonzo and Gio, and that's when I was getting really into it and watching it every time I had a show on. And then I was watching American Hammers one time, and I got a message saying, "Do you want to come on the show? Do you want to do it?" So I was like, I was in my little office at Carrick, and I was like, "Oh yeah, do a bit of fun. I'm not working now, so I just do it." So I just done it, and then Tim messaged me about doing a show, and I was just like, "Yeah, let's do it." Or not doing a show, but coming on, joining the shows and doing on chat. And then he asked me if I'd do my own show. So I kind of just done it, and like I thought I'd just get used to it with that. So and then Gio asked me. I met Gio and Nikki. They come down to Coty. We had a fantastic night. And then Gio said, "Do you want to come and do a show with us on our Patreon page?" I was like, "Yeah." Because I like Charlie, I got on well with him during the American Hammers. So, yeah, let's do it. Come on, let's get on there.
Brilliant. I love it.
We're part of the YouTube family now.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? How it all just like, it is like a family, isn't it, really? Definitely. It's definitely like as you said, particularly, everyone has their own little facts. Obviously, American Hammers family, and you have the Hammers chat family, and the West Ham fan team, and Orange United, and everyone has their own little families. It's lovely. And I'm a single parent, so I'm on my own. I'm just on my own. Sometimes my daughter gets involved if she wants some Robux or something like that. She'll get involved for 5 minutes. No, but it's great, isn't it? I love it. I love just sitting there chatting about West Ham and listening to people talking about it. It's great. Everyone has a different opinion, and you like listening to different opinions, and that's why I think That's why I think there's so many because there's always something to talk about West Ham. That's why there's so many West Ham YouTube channels. I don't think there's I don't know what I don't know Southampton fans talk about. I can't see there being too many Southampton YouTube channels. Do you know what I mean? There's always something to talk about West Ham, and I think it's brilliant. That's why I love it, man. Right, okay, let's move on and talk about the Hammers 11 because I think this is going to be interesting. So obviously everyone we have on the channel, bar Harry Redknapp, Ian Bishop, and Nigel Reo-Coker, gave their 11. So from the fans' perspective, the idea is you pick an 11 from the people that you are alive to see play. So otherwise, everyone would have put probably more in their team, and unfortunately, less and less people still will be more play. So you can pick whoever you want, whatever criteria you want, doesn't matter, but you have to be alive to have seen them play. That's it. Simples. It's that easy, he says. Right. Okay. So let's start off between the sticks. Who will be in goal for Raymundo 11?
Right. So I've seen a few of our keepers, and we've had some great keepers.
Yeah.
You know, Green, you've had a Hislop who almost made the team. Yeah, David James, because some of them players are really good, but he weren't the best, but he was my best, and that's Ludo McCloskey. I loved him.
Yeah, and I mean, he was the keeper when you. I mean, for years, for your formative years of being a West Ham fan, Ludo was the keeper, wasn't he?
Ludo keeper,
and he just had the song. He was, he was a foreign player, so again, quite unusual for us. And for football, there wasn't a wealth of foreign-based players there, and he was just there. He was there for ages. He just seemed to be in goal for West Ham for years.
Yeah,
years and years and years.
I don't remember ever seeing a game back then when he wasn't playing. He was always playing, just constantly playing, and I used to love it. And again, going back to the FA Cup thing, I remember the chicken run all shouting Ludo, Ludo, Ludo. And you get I got little ghost bumps already doing it.
Yeah,
it's just
it's true. And you just smile when you think of Ludo, don't you? You just smile. He's one of those players who just made you smile. Okay, Ludo's in goal. Good start. All right. Okay, let me write that down because I'll forget. Okay, Ludo McCloskey. He comes from near Prague. That's how it should have sung. Right. Okay, Ludo's in goal. Right. Okay, let's go. Let's go left back. I think left back might be quite an easy one for you as well, knowing your time period. Raz Van Rats, of course.
Okay, so it's got to be. No, it's not really Crossfield. It has to be Julian Dix. There's no other man apart from Dicko. And I remember like just going to see him in the games. He was hard. He was doing the crunch tackles, and like when I was playing it back in school, we had a kid who we always used to call Dicko because he still the slide attack. He was like a short, stocky guy back in the day, just taking people out, and we used to love that. And that's what Julian Dix is. And I remember shouting at Andy Gray at TV on Sky Sports once, going, "He didn't mean to do that. Why is he being sent off?"
Yeah. Exactly, and obviously now you've styled your hair on him, so it's
didn't have much choice.
Yeah, I know, it's awful, isn't it? Yeah, but he was. I mean, Julian's great. Obviously, we've had him on the channel as well, and he, to a lot of people in Arsenal generation, he was their idol. He was their. Yeah, that's right. He was their idol. Yeah, I mean, I know obviously your Wrexham game. I think Morley scored and Julian, so he was on the first goals you saw score. Same as me. Julian was the first person I saw score at West Ham, and yeah, it's just Julian Dix, isn't it? It's just Julian Dix. The story's all true about him as well. In terms of how he never trained, and his warm up would be sitting in a bath with his shorts on and his shoes on, and drinking a litre and a half of Coke, and then go and play 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Amazing play. Absolutely fantastic.
I loved him.
Yeah, we did. We love Julian. Right, okay, we'll put Julian on the left back. Let's go right back. Who'll be on the right back position?
See, I found this was the hardest position for me to pick.
Yeah.
And I end up going with Glenn Johnson in the end. I know he was only with us for one season, but I have this feeling you'll get to see this as my team gets said, it's like I love the youth players coming through our system. I can't. It's nothing more satisfying for me to see, you know, players coming through the ranks, and you know, as you see by the team I've got, if we kept them players at that time, who knows where we'd be right now? We would be. Yeah. It's craziness, but yeah, it was Glenn Johnson just picked it for me. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, no, yeah, totally get that, and I think he was on his players. You know, that time of West Ham sort of history, so to speak, where you had, you know, this phenomenal conveyor belt of young players come through the academy, with the sort of dread in the background that how long have he got until he has to be sold? Do you know what I mean? We had like Rio and him and Frank and Joe and Carrick and Jermaine, all these players. Like, yeah, he's brilliant. How long have we got with him? And it's horrible. And it's sort of how we think a little bit about Declan at the moment, in that he's an amazing player, but in the back of our head we're thinking, I don't think he's going to be here forever. And it's a horrible feeling, but it's that's why you have to enjoy these players when they play for your club, because you can't wait. You can't think about that, because I think Glenper only played about, I don't know, less than 20 games for us, I think, before he was off ski. And he went on loan to Millwall as well, which people forget as well. So, but yeah, no, Glenn Johnson, top bloke, definitely agree with that. Right, okay, we'll put Glennie in. Let me write that down. So we've got Dixie on the left, Glennie on the right. First centre half. Who we got?
Right, so I love this guy. He was one of the best defenders that I ever saw live, in my opinion. I just loved him, and that was Alvin Martin. I just love
Alvin Martin.
Again, another like hard hitting defender, and I used to love that. I can't remember what game it was, but I remember him getting a cut on his head, and it was like a Terry Butcher's kind of style that he had. He was just soldiering on, and I used to love it.
Yeah, got nowhere, but we don't care.
Yeah,
Alvin, man. And again, he's like one of those players, you know, you think, you know, I think if you looked at the beginning of his career, he was like, he'd come down from Merseyside, and, you know, he was like young, but then he sort of stayed at the club and became a legend, and still lives around the area, and was like an adopted Cockney, isn't he? His grandson goes to my daughter's school, so sometimes he does the old school run, which is always bizarre to see. It's Alvin Martin.
The thing I loved about last season, and it was the moment of the season, was him and his son just hugging, and you know, man of the match performance that you put in in the States. That's the kind of thing that I loved about West Ham back in the day, is them little moments, because we don't get many, let's be honest. No. Moments like that, you know, moments when we beat Man United, or moments when we stop them from winning the championship. It's crazy.
I mean, he's one of those ones as well, you know, Alvin Martin. Firstly, it's crazy to think that was last year.
I know.
Do you know what I mean? Someone mentioned that. Oh, remember when we had Roberto in goal? Oh, yeah, it's that was last year. Like, the world has gone so crazy. Last season that happened. It was mental. But yeah, that was just like, that was great on, you know, a personal level for him and his son. It was great on a professional level. The fact that his son got his dream to play in the Premier League, and then the West Ham level as well. The fact is, it's a legend watching his son playing a blinder as well for against Chelsea. It was just one of those moments which will be played again and again and again in 15, 20 years time, won't it? Because it's epitomised West Ham and what it meant to some people. Right, okay, let's put Alvin Martin in. Who's he going to partner, Ray, in the centres?
Maybe no surprise, but Rio Fernandez.
Rio.
Again, another youth prospect coming through the ranks. I used to love Rio, and yeah, it was the same when I was watching. Glenn Hoddle was talking about Rio back in the day when he was playing under Harry, and he was saying how he was talking to Rio about getting a ball and bringing it out from the back. And there was a time for West Ham when he'd done it, and he's literally running through the whole team and had a couple of shots on target. I was just like, I used to love that. And I feel like we kind of lost. Again, I think this was some of our other youth players. We kind of lost some of the sparkle with how they developed and stuff. We went on to win championships upon championships and titles on titles. And but I just, them little things that West Ham could have had. Box, brilliant.
I know what you mean. He sort of like, he lost that. I still obviously you can't you can't criticize his career. He's had an incredible career, but
Yeah.
he lost. He didn't. I think going to Man United. I mean, at Leeds he didn't lose it, but I think Man United, Fergie was like, "You're a defender, defend," and that's what you lost. I think if he had that sort of coming forward, he was going to be the next Bobby Moore, wasn't he? And the next sort of, Barese and that type of player, you would have put him in that bracket because he had that ability. But yeah, I mean, who are we to judge? The man had an incredible career, but it would have been nice if we brought it out a bit more. Right, okay, there we go. So we've got goalkeeper, back four. Let's go midfield. Let's go left midfield. Left midfield.
Well, I've gone for attacking wingers, not really left midfield.
Nice.
Did you want to do centre mid first?
Go on, let's do centre mid first. Go on.
Right. So again, two youth players. I'll give you the first one, Michael Carrick. I love Michael. And there was a couple of other things that I used to love about Michael Carrick. The fact that he signed a new contract with West Ham, even though we got relegated.
Yep.
And I think he turned down the Newcastle job.
Sounds familiar, yeah.
Yeah, I might be wrong, so forgive me if I am. But I just remember he turned down going to Newcastle, his boy club, to stay at West Ham because we've got relegated, and he didn't want to leave us in the lurch at that point. And for that, like I used to, I loved him for that forever. Yeah. And I was always excited to see him play the long balls as well because he could do a diagonal pass quite smoothly and
definitely,
yeah. And
he was one of those players who, I mean, I never saw Trevor Brooking play, but when people talk about Trevor Brooking, he wasn't the quickest player, but he always had time. He always just made time, and Carrick was the same. He just made time. I can't remember him. I'm sure he did, but I can't remember him sort of, getting caught too often on the ball. He was one of those players who everywhere he's gone, the team he's just left have never replaced him, really. So he never replaced him. Tottenham never replaced him. Man United never replaced him. One of those players, I think, which gets, I call him the 7 out of 10 players. You know what I mean? So it's like he'll always get 7 out of 10, and therefore people will forget about him because he's got 7 out of 10. I call it the Tim Breaker approach. So everyone forgets about Tim Breaker, but he was brilliant for us. But he was 7 out of 10 every game. He wasn't an 8. He wasn't a 9. He wasn't a 4. He was 7. So he was just there. But yeah, that Mickey Carrick was great, wasn't he? He was great. And again, he should have got a lot more England caps, that's for sure as well. Okay, so we got Mickey Carrick in the middle. Who else is going to be in the middle? Then Ray.
Declan Rice. Can't be anyone else for me.
Declan Rice. Let me find old Decky boy. There he is. Declan. Tell me about Declan Rice if you don't know already.
Oh, yeah. Like, again, another youth prospect to come through there. The fact that he got rejected from Chelsea, come to us, and then just build his career out from there. I could, I remember the time when he ducked his head under the ball, and Joe Hart was in goal, and it went past Joe Hart and into the back of the net. I could see his frustration, angry with himself, devastated. And like I was more endeared to him because I used to love that. And like just the way he's come back from that and he's grown, his process. Oh, yeah, I actually really love Declan. So
I love the fact that he just, there's no hairs and graces about Declan Rice.
Yeah.
If he's really pissed off with the result, you'll see it in his face. If he's really happy, you'll see it in his face. And the way he interviews and stuff like that, it's so refreshing to see that. It's so refreshing to see that because people usually are so shit scared not to be, oh yeah, we've had a great game and the boys played well. Declan is just like, if he's happy, he's happy. If he's buzzing, and there's something really special about that, I think.
Yeah. Especially when he done the dancing and when he got scared by Mason Mount and when he went down the pub and saw the West Ham fans, just little things like that just makes you blossom to him. Love it.
I mean, we were talking before we started about the old school and so he said the Moncurs and there's a bit about Declan, I think, in the fact that he's genuine.
Yeah.
And I think football now is so uber professional that anyone with personality, you don't get a personality in football now, and the ones that do get vilified. So like Grealish is a cocky little shit, but. I've interviewed Moncur, I've interviewed some, and they were cocky little shits. But they were cheeky cocky, they were right, so I think Deck's got a bit of that sort of old school charm about him. And, the fact that he's 22 or whatever, 21, 22, there's no marks out at the team. Deck's going to be captain. He's 21 years old, man. He's got like, Fabianski, he must have captained Poland. Balbuena was Corinthians captain. We've had some big players there, and Deck's a captain, and we haven't batted an eyelid. I find it astounding, absolutely astounding, how young he is, man, and just how much. I think we've just scraped the surface. I think there's so much more of him to come.
Yes. I don't understand what other fans don't see that we do. Do
you know what? I was thinking the same thing the other day, and then I was talking to a Villa fan, and they were saying, that Jack Grealish is the best thing since sliced bread, and because we see it week in, week out, 90 minutes, we know how good Declan Rice is. They only see match of the day. We only see match of the day with Aston Villa and Grealish and the bad bits, and maybe the good bits, but usually the bad bits. And I think that's the same with Declan Rice. He's one of these players who does a lot of work that doesn't get put on a highlights reel. We know how good he is as a player. We know how good he is. But it happened with Julian Dix, same thing. It's your players. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's a frustration that people don't appreciate the fact that he's probably one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. Well, he's one of the best midfielders in the Premier League, without a shadow of a doubt. And him and Souček are arguably the best centre midfield pairing in the Premier League at the moment. Can't find anyone better.
Yeah.
Okay. So put Carrick and Rice. That's a tasty midfield. Those two. Let's go. Go on. You go. Who's next, Ray? Go on. You pick, man.
Let's go attacking midfield before we start on the strike force, because I love it. So attacking midfield, Frank Lampard for me. Another youth prospect that come through, and I was so supportive of Frank, and I know a lot of fans got on his back because of Harry Redknapp and Frank Lampard senior, and I didn't really get it. I didn't really understand it, why they hated him so much. Because every time I saw him play, I thought he was playing really well. Every youngster makes mistakes. I thought he played really well, and I remember being at the game where. Do you remember when the lights went off and Frank scored? I'm trying to remember. It was a penalty, wasn't it? He scored a penalty.
I want to say, was it Crystal Palace?
I can't remember.
It happened a lot, didn't we? It happened a lot. It happened a lot. It happened quite a bit when we weren't doing very well as well. So, I think weren't we losing at the time or something like that? Quite possibly, but yeah. I remember that time. I remember that.
Yeah. I was like, oh, it was just such a crazy atmosphere at the time. Just as he scored as well. And I used to love Frank. And when I saw the video of him getting slated by the fan, I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm not just in front of him. It's like, I know Ocampello the other day didn't have the best game against Man United in the Cup. You don't go slating him. You help him, nurture him. It's his first ever game. I don't know what I'd be like if I played my first ever game.
At Old Trafford against your old club as well. I think people forget. It's a huge thing for him, and I think Odebeko. It was. Yeah, and again, it's one of those things where it's all about perspective. I think Simon Jordan made a really good point about him, saying, if he'd started and got 60 minutes, no one would have batted an eyelid.
Yeah.
So anyway, but I know, Frank, I know what you mean. It's one of those things. He was unfortunate, but we've interviewed like lots of ex-players, and they'd all pick Frank in their team because he would just work so hard on the training field. He knew that the fact that his dad and his uncle, and he knows that, and his uncle and both of them, his dad particularly, knew that was the case. So he trained twice as hard as everyone else. So he was there on his own merit, and it must have been hard for him. I know, the way he left and stuff like that, and he's sort of vilified because of that. But it must have been hard. It must have been hard for him. Having people assume he's only there because of his dad and his uncle. And to be fair, he was there in his own right, and they knew that. So, all right, we'll put Frank Jr. in.
I kind of hope Frank comes back as manager one day, just to
really.
Yeah, I want him to come around, turn it all around, and then be part of the West Ham family again. I didn't like the fact that Harry and Bonzi had that heated argument and did not resolved it. So I kind of want them to bring it all to a close. And same with Frank. I want him to come back, after this era of Moyes and come be our manager and show us the passion that we kind of missed in the later years that he had.
Yeah, okay, yeah, fair enough. Why not? I mean,
I get slated for that, but come on.
Stranger things have happened at sea, Ray, but you never know, man. You never know. As I said, I mean, I think, again, someone like Frank, I think the whole Chelsea thing, he was hard done by with Chelsea. I think he was always going to be in there for 18 months.
Yeah.
I don't think Abramovich ever saw him as the manager. He was almost like a caretaker manager. Yeah. He couldn't get anyone decent, no disrespect, but he couldn't get any big name to come in who couldn't spend any money. Yeah. So he was always going to be a hiding to nothing, I think. But he did a good job, and and again, you say, it's what people say about him. And I know the fact that he had to invest in sort of the youth, so to speak, but that's a real West Ham thing,
exactly.
Getting the kids in and playing with the kids. I'm going to get vilified for that as well, but. Everything's subjective now. It's like, you look at people, hated Payet, and then everyone loves him now because of the time he gave us. And, we'll see. We'll have him. He can be the backroom staff of Paul Ince and Jermaine Defoe. There we go.
Yeah. Again, I love Defoe. Like, Defoe's not my squad, but I love Defoe. I really liked him. And
I think I did. I mean, he was probably almost.
I think it was his agent that fucked him over, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think, but he's come out and apologised about that, hasn't he? Really, and I think he was on the most natural striker we've had since Tony Cottee. And again, he's still doing it for Rangers. You know what I mean? So with Steven Gerrard, who we all hated because of 2006. So we hate everyone at the moment. We still hate everyone. So we'll get Big Sam to be director of football. This is working out perfectly, Ray, I think.
Well, I'm out with Big Sam. Sorry.
I'm out. Dragon's Den style. Right, okay, let's put Frank in. Who's next then, Ray? Who's next, man?
So let's go Joe Cole on the right wing. I've put him on the right wing.
Joey Cole.
Where's Joe Cole? And
where is Joe Cole? There he is.
Here he is. Joe Cole. Yeah. I absolutely adored him. I remember seeing him on TV doing like clips when he was youngster and just grabbing the ball, turn and spin, and away. Like I remember the guy who was interviewing going, "Wow, that was amazing! Did you guys not just? This is actually perfect." To the point, and like ever since there, again, Mourinho screwed him over. Like I don't care what anyone says. Even Joe Cole says, "No, Mourinho taught me all this." Mourinho screwed him over. He had the best natural talent I've ever seen in a West Ham shirt. And the back in the day, which some of my favourite shirts were the big shirts that used to look like a tent on him.
They did. They never fitted him properly, did they? They were like, I like those shirts.
I kind of need them more now because
that's what I mean. It's like in hindsight, I could have bought a few more then, to be honest, and I'd have been all right. Now it's like now a double XL is not a double XL. It isn't. I'm sorry, it isn't. But he looked so. They just dwarfed him, didn't they? Those shirts.
Yeah. So I used to love Joe Cole, and I was kind of lucky because I used to work at Time and Envy Romford when I was like a bar supervisor.
Yeah, Time and Envy. God, I live in church. So there we go. Yeah.
And we used to have all the West Ham players come in, and then like we had like the VIP bar. So I went onto the VIP bar, and I asked this guy to move out of the way because I didn't recognise him. And then the barmaid was like, "Ray, that's Joe Cole." I looked, so I was like, "That's not Joe Cole." I looked. It was when he bleached his hair.
Oh no.
That's Cole. I just got the bar, and I didn't want to be too much of a fanboy, but I was like, "What, Cole? Come on!"
Yeah, I think you've got to be when you see Joe Cole or any of those. When you've met your idols, and as you said, I mean, they knew it was going to happen. I mean, if they're going to be Time and Envy in Romford, they ain't gone to like not Stringfellows, but they ain't gone to like kind of Whites or whatever, and so it's what they what do they expect? You know what I mean? But I think he was. I think, and actually, I was listening to one of these podcasts he does with Tom Davis the other day, and he was talking about himself as a footballer, and he says, and he basically said that he was a street footballer. That's what he was. He was always a street footballer, and on that basis, the time he was most a street footballer was at West Ham. So it must have been his best time. Hopefully we're getting Joe on soon. Hopefully, probably next month. And so it's one of the questions I want to ask him about that. Because I just think it'd be interesting to see. I know he'll play the party line and say, "Oh, Mourinho did it," but come on, Joe.
Yeah,
you love the time at West Ham better. But he was brilliant, wasn't he? And I mean, and also the pressure of the lad. We knew about him as fans from about 12, 13 onwards. It's like fucking hell. It's not even a teenager, and he's got that pressure on him.
Yeah.
That must have played on his mind as well. But we'll find out. We'll find out, Ray, one day. We'll find out. But okay, Joey's in. So we got Frank, you got Joey on the right. Who's going to go? Are you going to go one on the left now?
Yeah, go on. We go on the left, and I've put because this guy only stayed with one season, but he had the best season ever. Tevez after it, and when he scored, and jumped into the crowd, mate, I was just so happy then, and it was just so buzzing. Can't believe it. It was best time ever. And he went on. So it's like Brahma, but I don't think Brahma would be able to jump into an empty crowd right now. But it got to the point where he's got to score. And then you just see the relief that comes off the player when he does score, jumps into the crowd, and
I'm exactly the same with you in terms of Benrahma. There's a lot of parallels there with Tevez in that, and actually I think Benrahma's a little bit up the level, so to speak, because I mean Tevez, when he came in, I remember when he first started, he was pretty shit. He was everywhere, wasn't he? He was just like a headless chicken, just running around. A bit like when Benrahma started, he was doing all the tricks and stuff in the penalty box. It wasn't working, and then Curbs went, "Look, just stay up front. We'll kick the ball to you, and then you'll do your stuff." And you were right. He was hitting the bar. I remember him. The goalkeeper for the other team would always have an absolute worldie against him. And as you said, when that goal came in, just a relief. And we've had who'd we interview? I think it might have been Anton. I think it was Anton Ferdinand said that, talking to Carlos after that game, that's when he knew what being a West Ham fan was all about.
Yeah.
It sounds really it's really emotional, but that was the game. And then he became this legend. Yeah, absolute legend. Considering, as you said, he only was there for a season, the effect he had on the team, on the fan base was, and himself. I think, he was saying, there was an interview a few months ago saying the only team he'd go back to Europe for would be West Ham.
Yeah.
I'd be like, are you sure? You've played for Juventus, you've won trophies at City and United, but no, you want to go back to Chad? Well, it would be Chad Way, it would be Rush Green now. He'll turn up thinking, "What's going on here? Where's the toll gate?" No, you're not there now. You're not Chad Wave now, mate. You're Rush Green. He's like, yeah, but I know I didn't know the Mo from getting there from the Moby Dick pub. No, it's all right. Don't worry. All right. What's this golf course? What's this Moby golf? Oh, no one's going to care about this unless they know Romford and Hornchurch area. Yeah, but no, he was great, wasn't he, Carlos? And the whole thing around him signing, and it was just a crazy time at West Ham. Crazy time.
I think it was just his work rate that really.
Yeah,
I loved it. You could see that there's a player there, and it's just as you said, it grabbed the ball halfway and just try and do everything, and he was he was trying. West Ham fans do love a tryer, don't they?
God loves a tryer, and West Ham fans do love a tryer. Yeah. No, you're totally right. We do, and there's just something. Yeah, it was something special about him, wasn't he? And talking to a lot of players, ex-players about, what was it like as a player? You turn up to Shadow Heath and these two Argentinian internationals turn up, and they were like, just football, innit? It's just football. It's like, what would you expect? It's like, oh yeah, very true. Well, that was probably the first. I remember getting loads of I remember my boss. I was in the office and it came up on the ticker that they'd signed, and he was slapping me on the back, going, "Oh, well done, Russ." And I was like, "Yeah, I was clearly integral to the negotiations. There was me, Kia, and Scott Duxbury, all three of us in a room, and I got it all sorted. But yeah, no, he was a top guy. Tevez, some great stories about him and how he tried to integrate with the players and stuff. But didn't learn the language. He never learned the language. He always had a interpreter with him. There we go. Interesting story now. Right, okay, so we've got Coley, Lampard, Tevez. I think there's one more spot. There's one more spot. Striker.
It was a tough call, but there was this one player that took it for me, and his finishing was unreal. And I was gutted for him when he got injured at England, and I was just he had so much potential to be the Alan Shearer for West Ham. But if you haven't guessed, Dean Ashton.
Yeah, you're totally right. You're totally right in terms of him, man. You're totally right. He was.
It was finishing that he did that I just didn't understand how he got to it.
Yeah.
When he done an overhead kick, and I was like,
yeah. Man United. But I think he was one of those players. He's just like, you're right. He was just. I don't know how. Firstly, how he ended up being at West Ham because he was that good. No disrespect to West Ham at the time. He was that good. He could have easily walked into another team. We took a chance on him. And you're right. He was just like the most... I still think he's the most complete striker or most complete forward I've seen at West Ham ever. He could do it all. The man could do it all. He was tall enough to hold it up. He was basically Sebastian Haller and Antonio rolled into one. The best bits of both.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he had a bit of a turn of pace as well, didn't he, to get past people. But yeah, it was just a typical West Ham thing, isn't it? We want him to do well, want him to get into the England team. They do, and he gets crocked by arguably the smallest player ever to play for England.
What was he doing? It was Sean Wright-Phillips, wasn't it?
Yeah, I still can't watch anything. If he comes on telly, I can't watch it. It's really weird. I can't watch anything with Sean Wright-Phillips on. It's just really bizarre. It's an irrational hatred of the man, and he wasn't doing it deliberately or anything like that. It was just, it was a shame. It was nice for him to come back from Mark Noble testimonial and to score that goal, just to show he still had it in his locker and to show his family still did it. No, I love Dean Ashton. I thought he was a phenomenal player. And what he could have been, you know what I mean? Happens a lot at West Ham, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So what could have been? Him and Bellamy, they could have been a fantastic striking force together. Oh, sad times.
I know. We get so close, but just like our bubbles, they fade and die.
Just like our dreams, they do fade and die. Yeah. I mean, look, that's the team. That's the team. That's not a bad squad. Look at that. That'll be first on match of the day. That's strong, man. That's strong.
Really? That's not even an expensive team, is it? Really? Most of that's our youth, right?
That's what I mean. Most of them come through the youth. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 7 England internationals if we count Ashton. Obviously Martin, Alvin, Rio, Glenn, Carrick, Declan, Joe Cole, Lampard. We've got Ashton. We've got obviously Tevez, Julian. Should have been an England international, and then Ludo. God bless Ludo.
God bless.
Yeah. So he brought back the. I got criticised, Ray, for not doing the team sheet thing on the pitch thing.
No.
So I brought it back just to shut everyone up more than anything. All right, there we go. Ray, man, it's been lovely chatting to you, buddy. I've really thoroughly enjoyed it, mate. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you so much, man. And obviously, thanks everyone for watching or listening. Whether you're listening on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Podcast or whatever, wherever it is, give it a like, give it a share. And for myself and from Ray, take care, everyone. Stay safe. Wash those hands. Get your jabs. Come on, you irons, and we'll see you again come on, you irons. We'll see you again very, very soon. Take care, everyone. Much love. Bye-bye.